It's Friday, October 2nd, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Wanted to make a quick video this evening, kind of recap on a few things and a few articles that I was reading this morning. As I sit here on this Friday evening, so many things going through my head, watching the complete collapse of this economy, the collapse of the middle class. This article on CNBC this morning, stimulus discussions yield no deal, but Pelosi says talks will continue. The American people are being used as pawns. There is going to be no stimulus this year. I said many videos ago that there is going to be no more stimulus in 2020. And it looks like that is going to be a fact. Our politicians cannot come to an agreement. They're talking, what, $2.5 trillion. And when you look where they want to spend this money, it's criminal, downright criminal. So no deal on stimulus while the American people are floundering out there, desperate for help, falling behind anywhere from credit card payments to house payments to rent to auto payments to food. The American people are in severe trouble, and they are being used as political pawns at this point. There's going to be no stimulus coming in 2021, and this is another reminder of why you better continue your preparations. Here's another article, NYC hammered by 40% bankruptcy surge. You know, when we look at the big cities, what's happening in LA, what's happening in New York, it is a bellwether to what is coming to America, what's going to transition across the rest of America. What is California? The fifth, sixth biggest economy in the entire world. What is happening right here in California is going to happen more than likely to you, to your state, where you live. California is really a representation of what's happening in America and what's going to happen to America and what's going to happen to the American economy. It is, again, another canary in the coal mine. You can't ignore what's happening in New York City and just say, I don't live there, so I'm immune to it. What's happening in California, I'm immune. It's not happening here. It's not happening yet to where you live, but it is going to. Look, big trouble coming. And you can ignore the warning signs, as many have done for years. But for many people, the warning signs are becoming very real. It's affecting their life every day now as their wages have been cut, as they've lost jobs, as their standard of living has eroded, as friends and family around them have lost jobs, as cities are looking destitute now, as there are for sale for lease signs all over vacant buildings vacant all over many cities. And people are beginning to see that and coming to their senses, to the realization that there's something wrong here. The Hedge today, 6 months after the crisis started, Manhattan offices are only 10% full. Do you not think that there are going to be some sort of ramifications when only 10% of offices in Manhattan are being occupied? This is going to have huge consequences to banks, to landlords, to real estate prices, to city taxes, to the funding of police and fire departments. When you have major cities sitting vacant, buildings sitting vacant, this is going to have severe consequences, ramifications to not just cities, but to states and to the rest of the country. NYS controller audit, up to 50% of New York City bars and restaurants could close permanently in the next 6 months. Look, this is just a bellwether to what is coming to the rest of America. It's happening right here in my area in Southern California. It's happening in Los Angeles. It's happening all over America. Nobody is immune from the crisis right now. And when we look at this article here, also on The Hedge, why New York City is in trouble, 114,000 public employees earn over $100,000 a year. People are earning way too much money with these city jobs, especially with their pensions. And this is why we're going to see a massive pension crisis hit America, because the system's broken. The system isn't working. And as I come to you on this Friday evening, one of the best things you can do this weekend is start to get out of the system. If you're reliant on these financial institutions, if you're reliant on the banks, if you're relying on the government, you need to start detaching from the system. The less connected you are in the banking system, the less connected you are in these financial institutions, the better chance you have of surviving. They are going to rob America blind. They're doing it right now. Isn't it amazing that these institutions can borrow money for nothing, yet charge you 22% on your credit card? You can earn zero, literally negative with a savings account, but they're borrowing money for next to nothing, and you're getting robbed. You're getting robbed right now. You're watching the wealth transfer take place. These people are laughing all the way to the bank, and your friends tell you that this is make-believe, that this can't really happen. It's not happening. You're delusional. No, these people who believe and trust these institutions, the banks, the financial institutions, they're the ones that are delusional, and they're the ones that are going to be wiped out. They're the ones that right now are dependent on the system, believe everything is okay. They believe everything is going back to normal. They believe that their job is coming back. They believe that the economy is coming back. These people are believing in the tooth fairy. They're believing in something that doesn't exist and that hasn't existed in many, many years. And these are going to be people victimized by this economy. They're going to be the statistics. They're going to be the victims of the worst economic collapse in world history. Small firm bust accelerates as bankruptcies soar in September. Have you noticed that all of these trillions of dollars of stimulus, all of these reopenings, limited reopenings, have proven absolutely worthless? Small business is without a doubt the lifeblood of America, and it is being obliterated. The competition to corporate America is being wiped out right before your very eyes. Look, you cannot run a restaurant at 10 or 25 or 50%. You cannot run a resort or a hotel at 50% or 25% capacity. It does not mathematically compute. It is not going to work. And we were just watching the lifeblood, the backbone of America being obliterated, the competition being wiped out. Walmart's open, Target's open, Costco's open, Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Jack in the Box. The big corporate big boys they're making more money than ever now because they are wiping out the competition. They are locking down the competition. CNBC, 2 months later, the end of the $600 boost to unemployment benefits is already causing a drag on the economy. Total personal income took a $667 billion hit because of this, because people aren't getting $600 bonuses. People are now being forced to go into survival mode. People who thought that this was all hearsay, this was delusional, this was just some kind of fantasy we were talking about over the years. These people are now waking up to the fact that they don't have a job. Their lifestyle is changing right before their very eyes. Many people having to move back home, people now having to take in roommates, rent out rooms, put people in their garages in order to make extra money to pay for the rent or to pay the mortgage. This is reality now. It is starting to affect millions of people. And guess what? This is just the beginning. The pain that we're going to see isn't even here yet. If you think it's bad now, wait till you see what is coming. It is going to get much, much worse. Massively concerning jobs report sends a signal that the economic recovery could be fading. That's on CNBC. Could be fading? Are you kidding me? Could be fading? This whole thing has been fading since 2008. U.S. unemployment rate unexpectedly plunges below 8% as 661,000 jobs added. So, and this was below the 868,000 expected. But remember, yesterday, we got the job numbers for last week. We lost 837,000 jobs last week, where people had to file first-time unemployment claims. So we lose 837,000 jobs last week. We gained 661,000 jobs in the month of September. That was the total that we gained in September. But we're losing 837,000 one week, 860,000 the other weeks. We lost between 3.5 and 4 million jobs in September. We gained 661,000 jobs in September. The unemployment rate just went down to 7.9%. Are you kidding me? Now, look, I wasn't the best student in school. I'm certainly not a mathematician, but something is wrong here. So we went from 8.4% now down to 7.9%. We're hemorrhaging over 800,000 jobs a week for 8 months now. Are you kidding me? I mean, the manipulation, the cooking of the books here is on steroids. And they think that you're gullible enough to believe this. Sooner or later, this is all going to come to a head, because who's going to be left who's going to be left having a job? I looked at some of where these jobs, the 661,000 jobs for September. And of course, it's medical assistance, it's leisure and hospitality, it's all minimum wage, low paying jobs, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at real jobs, when you look at what's happening in manufacturing, when you look at wages, the middle class is being destroyed, and people believe everything is going to be okay. How long are people going to hang on and finally figure out things aren't going to be okay? When will they wake up? I guess when the stimulus checks don't arrive. I guess when they're being evicted. I guess when they have no money left in the bank because they're burning through it. Americans burned through a staggering $724 billion in annualized savings in August as stimulus fades. That's on the Hedge today. Oh, but there's no wealth transfer, right? People aren't dependent on the government. There's no problems here. This is just doomsday talk, right? This is doom and gloom. Let me repeat. Americans burned through a staggering $724 billion in annualized savings in August. You know why? Because the stimulus has run out, and without it, people are doomed. And you are watching a wealth transfer take place. You're watching small, medium businesses destroyed. You're watching the big boys take over. You're watching people eat through whatever savings that they had. And when these forbearances, when these moratoriums end, we're going to see very bad times in America. More than 1 million New Jerseyans to become food insecure by year end. This is the pure result of the depression that we're in. We're seeing food lines, not just in New Jersey. We're seeing right here in Southern California. We're seeing them in Northern California. We're seeing them in Florida. We're seeing them in states, in Texas, all over America. 2-mile food lines, cars piled up 2 miles long to get food. Soon, this is going to happen in your neighborhood. It's going to happen in your area. It's already begun. What happens when the inflation gets so out of control because of all the stimulus, all the money printing, all the quantitative easing, all this manipulation, all this cooking of the books? Your dollar is being devalued. What's going to happen when a loaf of bread is $10? What's going to happen if that loaf of bread goes to $20? It's not even going to be a food shortage. It's going to be a money shortage where your money doesn't buy anything, that a dollar doesn't buy anything. It's being devalued every day. Your dollar's being destroyed. And if it gets destroyed enough, if you're spending $100 a week in groceries, what happens when it goes to $200? What happens when it goes to $300? People think that this can't happen. It's happened throughout history since the beginning of time. It's happened to rich countries like Venezuela, Argentina, that are seeing this massive inflation. You think it can't happen to America? And you know why people think it can't happen here? Because it's America. It just can't happen. That is stupidity right there. It can't happen to your country because it's America. You are being fooled. Read history. Look at what happens when you are pumping all this fake money into the economy. You think it's not going to have damaging effects? You are wrong. Is this a buying opportunity for silver? We've watched the metals be wrecked. I without a doubt believe that you cannot be 100% in cash. You can't be 100% in paper. Look, the stock market is completely 100% being propped up by the Fed, and that day is going to end. And the day of reckoning to Wall Street is coming. And I truly do believe things are on sale right now. If you were on the fence, if you were thinking about it, look, as I've said in the past, I don't buy it if it's up or down. I buy it, put it away. I don't think about it. I take a certain portion of the money that I earn, and every month I'm buying a little bit. I'm putting away. It's called diversification, right? You should have some cash put away. You could have some stocks put away. You could have some cryptos put away. You need solid, tangible assets like gold and silver, not paper. Don't buy the paper. Buy the real physical. I'm looking at some of the mining stocks. I purchased some mining stock last week just for diversification. They're very volatile, but I think they're going to have huge upswings if you pick the right ones. But look, I walk the walk. I believe 100% in the metals. God's money is never going to be worth zero. It never has been. It has a 5,000-year track record. It's always going to have value. Can you say that about any paper currency since the beginning of time? Absolutely not, because every one of them has failed. So I believe that you got to have some physical metal. If you want to gamble a little bit, some of the mining stocks are going to do incredibly well. So look into that also. More fiscal stimulus is coming. Congress is going to have to spend a lot more money. They're going to create a lot more debt by doing this. And this is going to be an economic dead end for America. The economy and the average American are going to be finished by the end of this economic collapse, without a doubt. Congress and this government are going to have to borrow more money, meaning they're going to have to create more debt that can never be paid back, that's going to continue to devalue your purchasing power with that dollar. Congress is going to keep the bubbles inflated as long as they can. The bubbles are getting bigger and bigger. And at some point, as you all know, every bubble pops. And we're going to see not just one, we're going to see a lot of bubbles in America pop. This is why I'm 100% bullish in gold, in silver, in mining stocks. The more they borrow, the more debt creation, the more stimulus, it's going to guarantee that the metals and the mining stocks are just going to go higher and higher. And I believe right now they're on sale. And why wait till they go ballistic? When the bubbles pop, there's only going to be certain things to turn to. It's going to be hard assets. And two of the best financial hard assets are going to be gold and silver and mining stocks. If you don't have them, they're going to be very hard to obtain at that point, and they're going to be extremely expensive when you're using monopoly money like the US dollar. So why wait till the bubbles pop? Why wait till the emergency when you can obtain them right now cheap? So look into that. I believe wholeheartedly that they're going to have their day. But we're going to see massive volatility like we have seen, where they go up, they get crushed, they come back, they get crushed again. The volatility is not going away. I think that when the bubbles burst and they can no longer paper over this economy or the stock market, we're going to see huge, gigantic moves in gold and silver. So buy some now while you can obtain them. Last article today, a swarm of nearly 600 earthquakes rattle Southern California, sparking speculation about the big one again. Last week, I felt a pretty good earthquake at my house, but lots of these little tremors. And when I read articles like this, when I read articles about the cyber attacks and ATMs and bank websites going down, Twitter going down, all this hacking, the earthquakes and whatnot, this is a reminder of why we prepare, why we have food and water put away, why we have accessibility to cash and gold and silver, why we have security. This is why we prepare. not just for a financial collapse, earthquakes, tornadoes, natural disasters. You should be prepared for the lights to go out. If there was some kind of EMP, some type of cyber attack and the power went out, could you survive more than 3 days? Could you survive a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? If we had a major earthquake out here where I live, if we couldn't get water for a week or two, what would most people do? If we couldn't get food in here or power, what would most people do? They would be in big trouble. So not only are there man-made disasters, but there are natural disasters. So, cover all your bases. Be prepared for anything, because anything is possible. Anything from earthquakes to the lights going out to an economic collapse to your ATM shutting down to your financial institution's website being shut down, being hacked. Now you can't access it. You can't access your money. What are you going to do? So think about these things. So I'm going to leave you with this today. Be walking close to God. Be thankful for everything you have. Continue to say your prayers and thank God for your family, for food, for water, for a roof over your head. Things are going to get very, very dark here in America. Be walking extremely close to God. We will be putting up another Patreon video this weekend. We'll be back out training. I'll shoot some of that. I'm going to have hopefully maybe a couple people with me. So we're going to talk about preparation, the importance of training, and the importance of preparation. So make sure to tune into the next Patreon video this weekend. God bless every one of you. Thanks for watching. Share this video with everybody. Put it all over your social media. Have a phenomenal weekend. Continue preparations. God bless.